Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 4 versus 4 on Caumont Le Avant, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 15th Infantry Scots. On my team today I'm going to be joined by Rangroot, Val and Yurilov, who are playing the 101st Airborne, 3rd Canadian and the Guards Armoured. And on the opposing side we have Assault, Eugene, Demo and Schmitty, who are going to be playing the 2nd Panzer, 12th SS Panzer, 17th SS Panzer Grenadier and Panzer Lehr respectively. So on this map I was going to be taking this left side, as you can see by my ping just there. On my right I was going to have Val, on his right Rangroot, and on the far right Yurilov. So myself and Val taking up position together, hoping to probably work together throughout this game and try and make something happen. But my strategy today is going to be working off these Churchill 5s. I chose this left side mainly because it's quite open here, and early on the Churchills do very well in this sort of terrain. It's much the same reason why a lot of people play the 15th Infantry Scots in 1v1s on Carpiquet, because the Churchill 5s are actually pretty resilient and have quite good effectiveness at the 1200 meter range. What I didn't particularly count on though was how much pressure these tree lines would put on a armoured push down this road. I didn't really expect the reinforcements to be able to come down into this area so quick from the Axis side. You can see I can reinforce into this section, but they can reinforce through cover into this section, which makes it very hard for me to deal with reinforcements that come into this area from this road. So for example, if I have a Churchill here, the only time I'm ever going to see their reinforcements is if they come down this little section of road, and they could always come down this road and then pull in that way as well. So the line of sight in general is pretty deceiving here, and the recon information is going to be lacking on what's in this area, and that causes issues for moving tanks up on the left or right side of it, because you don't want to get side shot by AT guns at any point. Let's have a look at my unit composition anyway. We have the 2 Churchill 5s, of course. There is going to be an MMG carrier with some recon. I've got 2 Vickers HMGs. These are going to be taking up buildings on the left side here. And then we have a unit of rifles and a 6-pounder AT gun. On the right side, I've got just a couple of rifles moving up, command carrier with infantry, and the MMG carrier there with recon. And my units are going to be spreading out like so. So we've got the AT gun moving up to this tree line, Vickers HMG heading to this tree line, and then a Vickers HMG in this building just here. The idea of having all of this infantry on the left is just quite simply to push forwards the front line, see if we can make a +1 early on. But as you can see, that has actually fallen in favour of the Axis so far. So my Churchill's going to be splitting up here, as you can see. One going to the right, one going to the left. So far I bumped into Assault's units, so I was assuming that's who I was going to be up against. I'm just going to try and get my units into position sooner than later and stop any push I have coming against me. But seeing more of Assault's units on the right side here, it tells me that there's another player on the far left that I'm also going to be having to deal with. Now fortunately myself and Val are obviously here together, so his 6-pounder can cover my infantry quite nicely, but I'm still waiting at the moment to see my opponent's forces on this left side, even though I've just dropped off the recon here, as you can see. So this is pretty confusing for me, and I'm trying to work out what I really want to do with my Churchills. Finally spot this Nebelwerfer back here. 6 health artillery unit is quite often going to be a Nebelwerfer. Also, if you're unsure ever about who you're going to be playing against, have a look at who, like, the other units that have popped up, because you can see Salt's here and Val's engaging him. Eugen is here engaging Rangru, and on the far right we have Yurilov engaging Smitty. So that would have told me that Demo is on the left with his 17th SS before all of these Schwimmwagens came out of nowhere with the Stoss troop. Same goes for the Nebelwerfer firing. Unfortunately, those rifles get surrendered just before they kill off the Stoss troops. That didn't work off too well, and now it's just a matter of trying to clean up these Schwimmwagens as they rush towards me. Now, Demo basically used the Nebelwerfer strike to get rid of my infantry, then tried to rush my Churchills with the Stoss troop. But as you can see, not going to let it happen. Just make sure that I kill the infantry with Panzerfaust first. That's the most important thing. Because if I kill the infantry with AT, then the Panzer Grenadiers in the open are just going to get killed off. Which is what I'm looking to do here. I'm also just, of course, looking to kill all of these units anyway. So got a Honey coming in as well now to support the Churchill 5. But Salt's going to be starting to engage my infantry with a Pak 40 here, and I've got to be careful that my Churchill 5 doesn't get taken out. So you can see I'm trying to get my Churchill 5 into like line of sight of this Pak 40 so that I can kill that. Ideally I should have reversed and got the fire position down, but knowing that that Pak 40 is already in range, I should just keep firing until I pin down the Pak 40, but I do manage to just about get out of there. Salt actually retreats his Pak 40 as well, so just a mutual decision there to fall back by both myself and Salt. Pak 38 tries to engage the MMG carrier, leaves itself open to the Churchill 5, so that's going to be starting to hit the Pak 38 there. Nebelwerfer fires off once again though, and does take out my command infantry, which was rather unfortunate for me. But so far Demo's put on quite a lot of pressure on this left side, but I had the units to deal with his infantry push, which was nice. So slowly but surely taking out these Panzer Grenadiers and Stoss troop squads, whilst also trying to push up a little bit further on the left side with these rifles and the Vickers HMG. Like, I may as well try and make ground where I can. And on this left side, that's honestly where I probably could have put a lot of my focus throughout this game. So Vickers HMG versus MG42. MG42 is going to win pretty much every time, mainly because the MG42 is in a building there, but also because it has more suppression value, and you can see that taking effect onto the Vickers HMG. So now my Honey is being engaged upon by the Panzer IV. The Honey actually hits the Panzer IV, which was a cracking shot, but did not penetrate and do any damage. So I'm just going to have to get that Honey behind the house, make sure he is not in line of sight of that Panzer IV anymore. Panzer Grenadiers here going to be engaged by both the Vickers HMG and the rifles, which is going to give me a little bit of an advantage at close range. Meanwhile, the Churchill 5 is going to start having a go at that MG42. Now at close range, the Panzer Grenadiers don't have much HE. They have a total of 5, and the rifles have a total of 8. So although Panzer Grenadiers are often perceived to be better than rifles, at close range you've got to be careful. Rifles can definitely do a lot of damage. Now Demo starts to bring down his 221, and this 221 can actually be pretty dangerous. It's not any threat to my infantry because it doesn't have any HE value, but that 221 has the potential to rush my Churchill 5, get close, do a lot of damage. So I've got to be very careful, and you can see I'm going to be starting to engage my Churchill 5 onto that 221 because of this. Pak 40, however, has opened up from the right side. We also see Demo engaging with the Pak 38. So I'm in a bit of trouble here, and my Churchill 5's not having a good time. Managed to take out the Pak 38, however, with the help of the MMG carrier. And I've also got this Churchill now on the way over, but it's taking its sweet time. I now also have an AVRE on the way, that as you can see, was just on a normal move order, but should have really been on a fast move order. So my MMG carrier goes down. I've made quite a lot of ground on this far left side, especially taking out the Panzer Grenadiers over here. And on the right side, Yurilov's doing a fantastic job as well with his Guards armor, definitely doing well. And Val on his right side has found a little salient there. Now it's just a matter of saving this Churchill 5 And the way I'm going to do that, fire position the Pack 40 here, because I don't have direct line of sight due to the tree line, so I'm just going to try and pin that down and make sure it doesn't fire anymore at this Churchill 5 that was previously under fire. But Nebelwerfer is going to come down there once again onto these rifles. Rifles going to be forced to fall back. In the meantime, it's time to push forwards with the Honey and the AVRE. AVRE, if it can get into range, will hopefully be able to take out the Pack 40. So that's kind of what I was going for in this situation. I can also try and kill off this 221. So you can see I'm starting to do that now. I'm even getting the Churchill 5 involved there just to help out. AVRE is going to fire away. You can see it manages to pin down the Pack 40 again, but doesn't find the kill. And honestly, this is a good time actually to talk about the presence that this sort of tree line area was giving me. So I've got these two Churchill 5s, and they're generally very good against infantry in the open and just like stuff in general. But as you can see, like, I've got to be very cautious about moving up towards this road here and further up, because they keep bringing in AT guns and infantry to this area, and as long as there's infantry and so on there, I'm in trouble. And this AVRE is going to get hit by a Nebelwerfer 41, and you can also see those Panzerstrecks there, but I wasn't aware of them at this time. So I'm just going to try and get some rifles into this area and clean it out that way. However, as soon as my infantry comes in, it gets hit by the Nebelwerfer strike. So demo so far, done a pretty good job with the Nebelwerfer strikes. They have definitely delayed my push so far. Command carrier is now going to be trying to get into line of sight to shoot some of these squads as they advance. Meanwhile, on the right side, we see Yurilov pushing pretty damn hard, still making ground, still doing a fantastic job. Rangru is just trying to hold in this town area. His 101st Airborne, not the best division for this map. I don't think he was aware that this was the map he was thinking of going into this game, so there you go. Rifles though have almost recovered, and they're going to be trying to push back through these tree lines, as you can see. Now the AVRE is going to be hit by the ME-109G2 BR-21, but with the AVRE getting the shot off, Pack 40 goes down. Fortunately, I already had this AVRE facing in the right direction, which is why they didn't get the kill there. This Churchill 5 also managed to pick off the 221 finally. That 221 being an open top vehicle does allow me to kill it with the Churchill 5. So again, in a very nice position right now. However, Demo makes the right call and brings in a Stug 3. Now a Stug 3 is a problem because I don't really have too much to deal with that. I have the Churchill 5s, but they can't really penetrate a Stug. I have the AVRE, again, can't really penetrate. Honey, still can't penetrate. So I'm probably going to have to invest in AT guns at this point in order to take out that Stug 3, and it's definitely something that I probably should have done, but I didn't at this moment in time because I wanted to get in my artillery to counter battery the Nebelwerfers and also take out any infantry I came across with these rifles. So got a couple of 2-inch carriers in here. Those are going to be providing smoke, and this was, I would say, an interesting move for sure. Like Stug 4 rolls forwards. I want to get all of my tanks out of here. So how do you do that? You just smoke every single one, and you can see that taking effect here. I was fortunate enough not to get this Churchill 5 killed, even though it was attack moving forwards there. Fortunately had the smoke to just fall back into, and all the while I'm managing to make ground through these tree lines. So doing pretty well, and was just waiting for something to kill the Stug 3, and then I could maybe push forwards even more. 25 pounders are here. They're going to be opening up onto any targets they find. Currently aiming at the Pack 40 here. But here come the Nebelwerfers once again. They're going to smash into my rifles, and there's not too much I can do about that. But smoke everywhere just to try and get my Churchills away from those engagements. And my rifles were in a pretty good position to hit the Nebelwerfer of Demo, but unfortunately wasn't to last as the Panzergrens come in and pin down my rifles. ME-109G2 really not doing too much to the AVREs, and my 25 pounder is still firing away. And my Churchill 5 here does take attract wheel damage. It also gets hit in the side armour by the Stug 3, and inevitably the Churchill 5 dies. Now that was my mistake, allowing the Stug 3 to get in range of that Churchill 5 in the first place. You can also see I was a little bit slow on the smoke, so that sucked as well. But this single Stug has just really caused me a lot of issues. So you got the Stug 3 on this right side, and now there's also a Stug 4. And this is where I really needed to invest in AT, but instead I invested in the Command Churchill 7s. In hindsight, this was a pretty bad idea, but I think I bought them before I saw the Stug 4. Like against the Stug 3, Churchill 7s actually do really well. However, against the Stug 4, they don't, because the Stug 4 can engage from out of range of the Churchill 7, and also when the Churchill 7 gets in range, it can't penetrate the 12 front armour of a Stug 4. Now this AVRE is of course pinned down now, got the weapon jam, it's showing side armour, only a matter of time until the Stug 3 here hits that, and there we go, AVRE down. So it all comes down to not having AT in the right place. There's the possibility that I could have moved the 6 pounder from the left to the right. That might have actually been a decent idea. If we got it into this tree line, I could have maybe side shot some of these tanks. But currently I'm allowing these Stugs to make a lot of ground, and my rifle leader there of course going to let me down. Piet's never hit anything. My rifles are also being cleaned up at the moment in these tree lines. Panzer Grenadiers running those down, and unfortunately suffer a surrender there. So at this range, the 1000 meter engagement, this Stug 4 has 14 AP versus the Churchill. It's not quite enough to penetrate, so this is basically a war of morale. But with the Nebelwerfer coming down as well, it kind of swings that in Demo's favour. Finally time for the AT gun to arrive, and if I can drop this off into a nice position, then I should be able to find at least a couple kills onto these Stugs. So just got to get around this 25 pounder. Now that 25 pounder ends up getting rocketed just as my 17 pounder goes past it. Bit of a fluke on Demo's part, I believe. But really kind of screwed things up for me, because ideally I wanted to drop that 17 pounder off directly into line of sight of both the Stug 4 and the Stug 3 and kill them very quickly before they could do too much damage to my Churchill 7s. Now I'm just going to have to rely on it sneaking into this tree line and taking the shots that way, and if I can clear things up, then my Churchill 5 Churchill 7 combo can continue the push. Val has brought over a Wolverine and is going to start engaging the Stug 3, but I'm kind of living life on the edge right now. Of course, Schminny's going to disconnect from this game. Nothing new there. Ju-88 going to be coming in and cluster bombing my infantry in this building. Absolutely destroys the building, destroys my infantry, forces the Honey to fall back. 17 pounder opens up, gets the crew wounded onto the Stug 4, gets the kill with the second shot. Churchill 7 going to be engaging as well, hoping to find as many kills as I can with this 17 pounder. Stug 3 goes down. So now I've got to clean up the 231, 223, but there is an IG-33 over there, as you can see, and that IG-33 going to be causing issues for my 17 pounder. With its large 27 HE power shells, there isn't really too much I can do to stop that from killing my 17 pounds. So just got to run away from that engagement and hope for the best. Also going to put down some smoke to cover the retreat. Honey is now trying to engage more of the infantry here and the vehicles, and so far we're not doing too bad. But now it's just a matter of taking out this Befehl Panzer IV and of course cleaning up the IG-33. So with 2 Churchill 7s and a Churchill 5, it doesn't take me long to start pushing them back. This 17 pounder though was well overdue, and if I'd had that maybe a minute or two earlier, the Stugs probably wouldn't have made so much ground. I wouldn't have lost so much pressure in this area, and then I would be on top of these Nebelwerfers once again. You can see my 25 pounders continuing to fire away though. I had these on the control groups so that I could select them very quickly and get them firing at the Nebelwerfers whenever they expose themselves. Because the main way you want to counter Nebelwerfers is by quite simply leaving your artillery ready to counter battery as soon as it fires. Because then the opponent won't have time to pick them up and redeploy them before you hit them with artillery, which means that the supply vehicle or whatever's picking them up won't be able to. So Churchill 7 now engaging the Befehl Panzer IV. Befehl Panzer IV has 14 AP versus 15 front armour, so the Churchill 7 should win this engagement quite convincingly. And I've also got the Churchill 5 to help me out there. And now we see the arrival of this Stug 4, and that's going to change things up once again. I've also bought a 17 pounder now to the right side of these roads so that I can provide some presence from these tree lines. But I am going to require more infantry, and as you can see that is on its way. So far so good. Double Churchill 7 doing the job, but on this right side one of my rifles gets killed by the Pak 40. Now these rifles have arrived, but they're going to get pinned down by Panzer Grenadiers, and these rifles moving into here with the rifle leader are also being hit by Panzer Grenadiers, so not having a very good time. Churchill 5 manages to pick up the 251, which was okay, and you can see my Churchill 7 still trying to make the push on to the Stug 4, but neither really has a chance of killing each other. But I have made back quite a lot of ground on this left side. I think I am just about over the 50-50, especially on this left side. Meanwhile on the right, however, Yuri Love's definitely making a lot of ground. Unfortunately, Val's kind of broken on my right flank. Between myself and Rang, there is this kind of pretty large gap now. Seems like Salt ran him over pretty hard. So now the Panzer IV is coming in. That's going to be engaging my Churchill 5. I've been forced to fall back with the rifle leader and the rifles after they get hit by a Nebelwerfer 42 strike. And this Churchill's now trying to engage some Stoss troop. Focke-Wulf 190A8 from Salt comes in, hits my 17 pounder. I'm also going to be hit by the ME 109 onto my other 17 pounder. And when Salt and Demo start working together in order to push me back, things aren't looking very good. So I brought up a rifle leader here that was originally there to replace this rifle leader if it died, but didn't end up doing so. So now I'm just going to be having that rifle leader hide and wait until I can charge back forwards again. I've also decided to bring in a Typhoon AT to pin down and possibly kill off these Stugs and the Befehl Panzer IV there. Now my 25 pounders have been doing some work on these Pak 40s, definitely weakening them quite a bit. We've taken one Pak 40 down already, the second one's on 1 health. But as you can see, there is an Aufklärer Panther D here, which is going to pick off Val's Wolverine, and that means that I don't really have much to cover my right side. Now ideally this Typhoon AT shouldn't have been in the air for that long, so that's a bit of a mistake on my part. But you can see I was microing this Challenger to take out the Panzer IV on top of the town. Fortunately the Allies are still at a +1, still doing pretty well. and therefore we're on like 1,200 points. I'm just trying to hold on here versus both Demo and Salt, because at any moment Salt could attack me on my right flank, especially with Val lacking units on this side, and any AT guns he brings in are going to be shot down or blown up to pieces by the Ju-88S here. So Recce Squad finally goes down on this right side, and you can see I'm just losing pressure on the right side of the town, which means I am going to have to start falling back with all of my tanks. That's also due to a Nebelwerfer 41 strike. So I have a Challenger here, and I have a 17 pounder. These are going to be the best hope for me to kill off this Stug 4 and the Panzer 4. So you'll see me try and go for those engagements. I've also of course got the Churchill 7s, and I can use a 25 pounder smoke in order to help them to get closer. But so far, just taking it easy, as we have moved into phase C, and the opponents are going to start gaining access to better armour, especially Salt here, who's going to be arriving with Panthers any time now. Now that airstrike came in and killed off one of my 25 pounders, which was annoying, but I've still got quite a nice amount of vehicles here and these tanks. Just got to find the kills now onto the Stug 4, Fell Panzer 4, and so on. In general, my Challengers should defeat Stug 4s pretty handily. However, now I'm up against a 3-star Panther A from the 2nd Panzer, and that's not going to end well at all. 3-star Panzer 3, or Panther A, sorry. These things can absolutely muller tanks. They really do a lot of damage very quickly. I'm going to try and pin it down with the Typhoon AT, but I'm not even able to do that. Unfortunately, due to the evac Winchester bug, my Typhoon AT wasn't able to get onto the back of the Ju-88 to shoot that down. That ends up bombing out my Churchill 7s and the Challengers there with the two 3,000 kilogram bombs, and then forces me to fall back. So you can see them now being hit by a Pak 43 here. Gonna hope to get some smoke in position from both my 25 pounder and the 2-inch carrier as they fall back to avoid any more kills. But I do have, of course, the Panther encroaching on the right side, and now the Pak 43 continuing the attack move forwards. I do have this Honey here that is actually stopping the half-track push from Salt on my right side. But at the moment, not many troops left here from Val. He has one 17 pounder, and you can see he's now bringing up a Firefly 5C. But overall, things haven't really ended very well for Val on my right flank, whilst I've been trying to deal with Demo. But with the arrival of this Panther A, it just makes things incredibly hard, especially whilst being engaged from Stug 4s from the left side. Befell Panzer 4H can also sneak up into range and try and do some damage. So my best bet here really is just to get this Churchill 7 out of this engagement, and then allow the 17 pounder to possibly ambush some of these tanks. But if I'm not successful, then that could leave the door open to this town, because I don't have any infantry garrisoned in the town. And now we see the Pak 43 engage my Churchill 7. That's been forced to fall back. Got the driver wounded, and just nothing I can do. Churchill 5 not in line of sight. As I'm beginning to move up and get that kill, Panther A comes in from the right side, starts spoiling my plans, and as you can see, with like a couple of my tanks dying there, both the Churchill 7's down, losing this Churchill 5 as well is absolutely devastating. So I definitely don't want that to happen, otherwise I won't have any cover for the Challenger. And now Nebelwerfer's coming in once again, this time to just clear out the rifles. And on top of all of that, There's now a huge push coming in from both Salt and Demo. Lots of infantry rolling down that main road towards the town. And it's just a matter of holding on as best I can. Spitfire comes over, tries to get a strafing run in, manages to get out alive, but the AA of Salt doing a lot of damage in the process. Challenger's trying to clean up some of this infantry before that hits the town, but just not really doing very well at the moment, and JU-88 there is going to smash to pieces those rifle leader. So I've got to try and rush up 4 units of rifles just to try and take up the town and stop Demo making too much ground here. Pack 43 is going to smash my Challenger, and I'm just basically coming under a lot of pressure from both Salt and Demo, and it caused my front to collapse quite hard. Because I've had this recon here the whole time, so I was hoping that I'd be able to see the movements of these AT guns a little better, but the line of sight is just incredibly dodgy here. I've also snuck over the 17 pounder. I'm trying to get that into the tree line here to maybe take out the Stug 4 and a 231. If I can, you know, get a kill here onto the Stug 4, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So that's what I'm going for. 17 pounders aiming. Was originally aiming at this SDKFZ-21, but now gets pinned down, and we're forced to fall that back almost immediately. So fortunately, find the Stug 4 bailout, which definitely does put a delay on the push from Demo. But with that not just killing the Stug 4 straight away, it is pretty awkward. Honestly, that 17 pounder, it like auto aimed at the AA piece rather than the Stug first, and that caused me some problems. Honey here is going to be engaging this half track as it comes into range. I have just about managed to secure the town though, with the help of Val's assault pioneers. Recon on the right side of the town is going to get taken out. 17 pounder gets hit by artillery, and well, there goes that 17 pounder ambush idea on the left side. I genuinely thought that that was going to do way more than it ended up doing, and lose 120 points just like that. SOS troop also forcing my rifles to surrender due to the lack of command on this left side. Honey is going to get pinned down. Focke-Wulf 190s flying about. It's just not going well for myself and Val on this left side. Typhoon ATs there, going to be coming in, trying to take out that Panther A. Managed to get the job done. But there is of course this Focke-Wulf 190 A8, and that's going to be able to shoot down one of the Typhoon ATs. But I'll take a Panther kill for a Typhoon AT. It worked out quite nicely in the end. I've also got 2 17 pounders lining up and ready to go. But these probably weren't needed anymore after that Panther kill. So potentially a waste of points spent there after that Panther got dealt with by the Typhoons. This Stuart though, still able to do quite a lot of damage to any infantry that comes to this left side, so that's just going to be waiting there. This Honey has since fallen back from being hit by the rocket strike. And now look at all of the forces coming in here. Demo's just fast moving down the road straight into this town that's getting Nebelwerfed like crazy now. More rifles surrendering. Having my 2 units of command infantry die up here definitely left me with a lack of command infantry in the town later in the game. I can't do too much about that, just got to keep spamming the rifles forwards. These 2 one-man units of STOS troop managed to overrun my Stuart in the end. 6 pounders going to be engaging and taking out the SDKFZ-71, which was quite a nice kill, but I lose the Stuart Remy. This 17 pounder, I believe, gets cluster bombed and manages to actually survive, which was interesting. So I'm just going to have that fall back. Fortunately, because we've already made 1,400 points and our opponents are struggling for a +1, we are still going to win. I did have a pretty solid early game, but with that Panther coming in on my right flank, really just made me collapse. Also, the Pack 43 choice from demo, this 2-star Pack 43, did a lot of work as well. We've also now got FK18s coming in from demo, and they're going to start arting these rifles that are trying to make background in the town. Honey does manage to take out the SPW-231, which was nice, but the Honey then gets taken out by the Befehl Panzer IV. The last of my 25-pounders gets destroyed. Artillery and Nebelwerfer coming in onto the town is going to do a lot of damage as well. Fortunately, Val's rifles stop these Stosstroop from doing too much, and with these rifles falling back, I am able to save quite a lot of them. The Stuart Recce here going to be opening up onto the Panzer Grenadiers. Look how much damage this does quickly. You've got both the 30 cal and the 50 cal getting on target at very close range, absolutely demolishing the Panzer Grenadiers as they're forced to move forwards into the flame. Demo was an absolutely ruthless leader. He just made his men walk onto the fire. On this left side, Recce get killed off by the Stosstroop. Bit of an unfortunate trade. Just a one-man Stosstroop squad there, taking out my 2-man Recce squad. Shouldn't have really happened, but not much I can do at this point. Spitfire Mark 9 going to be coming in with the bombing strike onto these Opel Blitz. I was hoping to get like a nice chain explosion here. Unfortunately didn't occur. But taking out all of those Opel Blitz munitions would have been really nice. We see the Befehl Panzer IV coming into the town, and that's going to be hitting it after the Nebelwerfer 42 strike comes down and leaves more flames about. Now Val's Tripolston is killing off quite a lot of infantry there. We can see the Pack 43 still moving forwards. Panzer IV pinning down my rifles. This is just a pretty desperate hold on to this town. As long as we can hold on though, that's still going to be victory. And I actually managed to score a victory against the Focke-Wulf 190 A8 in the sky, which was a sweet kill towards the end of the game. There is now 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, and as you can see, we are still going to win in that time if our opponents can't make any more ground, which is basically what we're counting on right now. Got to be a little bit careful with the air engagements. Unfortunately, with Val's Tripolston hanging about, I could maybe go for a kill onto the ME-109 G2 BR-21. Ju-88 does get shot down on the right side due to the CMP Tripolstons here and the Crusader AA Mark II. But Salt's still making a lot of progress with his 231. He's got another 3-star Panther A rolling forwards now. Time for more infantry to come into the town. It's time for the Assault Pioneers to arrive. These guys have the 1 HE grenade that's pretty good for trading with the Stosstroop and Panzer Grenadiers and so on that the 17th SS have, so just going to be going for that engagement where I can. Stuart Recce's going to be moving up on the left side to try and find line of sight onto some of the infantry. Just got to be careful not to get it killed off by enemy air force, and this Typhoon AT was trying to kill off this Panzer IV, but unfortunately missed when it lost line of sight, so that sucks, but not too much I can do about that. 17-pounder here, really waiting to get line of sight as well. This one on the right side again, just trying to get line of sight onto significant targets. That's going to bounce. I believe that was a Stug of some sort, and I just wasn't able to penetrate it. Yeah, Stug 4 bounced 2 17-pounder shots to the front armour. Gets forced to fall back by the 3rd shot. Just not doing particularly very well right now. It's just like, look at this concentration of forces on this side. It's absolutely insane. Because now it's both like, well, it's mostly demo actually. He's managed to be able to concentrate his forces into this town. He has been accompanied by some of Salt's forces. He's got some Panzer Grenadiers in here helping out. But otherwise, the relentless pressure from the 17th SS has been doing a lot of work. They do get a pretty sweet income in Phase B. And since Demo was able to keep all of his Nebelwerfers alive, it did make it very hard for me to score points-worthy kills onto his units. Like any infantry push that I tried to make just got Nebelwerfered. My tanks got Nebelwerfered. You can see here another rifle leader fail, as the Piat just fails to hit the Panzer IV. This rifle leader jumps out the building. A little bit of a miss micro there, gets itself killed. And yeah, just not going well. Assault Pioneers are trying to do the damage. But Spitfire Mark 9 coming in there to try and bomb some of this infantry and take it out. Like I said before, it's just a matter of holding on. Still 50-50. The Axis are finding it really hard to find those extra points. And in 2 minutes, still going to win nonetheless. Panzer IV getting a bit over-aggressive here, just waiting for it to fall in line of sight of this 17-pounder. Got a new 17-pounder coming up to the left side of the town as well. Hoping to maybe kill off some of this armour before the end of the game. And again, Nebelwerfer coming in. Demo really just keeping those alive is very, very important indeed. And there wasn't really much I could do to put pressure onto it. Like, I tried to use the 25-pounders, but then the ME-109s came in. Maybe I should have had recon on that, or not recon, but anti-air at that point. But unfortunately not the case, and we took too much damage and the Nebelwerfers never went down. Now 17-pounder on this left side did take a shot briefly at the Befehl Panzer IV, but then lost line of sight again. Stuart Remy is trying to make ground here. The 17-pounder eventually finds line of sight as well, and that's the kill. Lovely stuff. Honey is on its way against Panzer Grenadiers without any AT. Honey is actually a really good choice to throw into this town, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. But I've got to make sure this Panzer IV is dead first, otherwise that will just kill my Honey. And you can see here, Honey's moved into line of sight of the Panzer IV, and could be in trouble. Fortunately, smart enough to move that away from that engagement and continue towards the town. But 15 seconds left on the clock. Fantastic job by Yuri Love on my far right side. Also, fantastic job by Rang to actually make ground with the 101st. But under pressure on the left side, after Val kind of broke, did leave me in a pretty hard position, and we just about managed to hold on in the town. It was continuous engagement until the end there. Pretty intense game, but a major victory nonetheless, and 2,685 kills to 3,330 losses. Unfortunately, Val there with the 1,995 kills to 3,720 losses, which is pretty bad. But Yuri Love making up for it with the 5,060 kills to 2,585 losses. Really, really fantastic job. Salt doing really fantastic with the 4,370 kills to 3,240, and Demo putting a lot of pressure on with that 17th SS, overwhelming me with his availability. Really, really good job. Eugen also picking up the positive KD. Schmilly on, I believe it was the right side, ended up DCing. But there we go. And that is that. An interesting game, for sure. I definitely need to work on my play with the 15th Infantry Scots. I think I had the right idea with like the armoured ball, which had both the Churchill 7s challengers and the Churchill 5s. But I just didn't really count on the Panther coming in from the right side. Like, I thought that would be a good option against the 17th SS, and maybe in a 1v1 it would have. But with the Panther there, that I didn't expect, it could take advantage of my armour, which either lacked range or armour. So the Challengers, for example, they have the range, but they lack the armour, and the Churchills, they have the armour, but lack the range. And that's just not good enough against the Panther. So there we go. Interesting game, I thought. Well played to Demo and Salt on my side. Commiserations to myself and Val, who got kind of wrecked in this game, but still fun nonetheless. And if you guys want to see more games like this, then make sure you check out my stream. Not going to be streaming this Saturday, which is going to be the 10th of March, but we'll be streaming the following weekend, so make sure you join me then at 8 PM GMT. In the meantime, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.